Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it's been a while since I did a video about in the living with a disability playlist topic or whatever. Living with a disability is that my disability is my hair that does its own thing. But I've been thinking like lately about, I don't know why this topic has been on my mind, but somebody, when I very first mentioned that I was going to do these types of videos, somebody left me a comment, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name. I should have went back and looked before filming this, but I didn't, so I apologize for that. Somebody asked me if I could do a video about how to help people know more about asking for help, volunteering to help someone with a disability, or if you're on the receiving end, when should you ask? How should you ask? How can you, as a person who is able-bodied, not offend somebody that's disabled in offering help for them? But also, how can you, as a disabled person, how do you feel more comfortable asking for help or anything? And I thought this person had said that her father had recently, I think, been diagnosed with an illness, and that was something that their family was starting to come up. And I was like, that is such a great topic. And I thought about it, and then for a while I kind of went out of my mind, and I've been thinking about it more recently. And I see things a little bit from a different perspective, I think, because I've always been needing help. I've always been slightly, in need of help with a lot of things, little things, usually opening doors, pop cans, bottles, carrying things, lifting things, just daily mundane tasks, pulling the fitted sheet down onto the bed, tying my shoes, hooking my bra, zippers, things that you wouldn't even think of that come up on a daily basis for somebody that's has a disability. And so since I've always had to deal with that stuff my whole life, I think that asking for help has always been a part of me, and so it's not something that I'm personally uncomfortable with. I'm not afraid to ask for help. I'm not ashamed to ask for help, usually, and it's just something that I have learned to do, because we all need help sometimes. Even if you are not physically disabled and you have other issues, we all need help sometimes. I come at this also from the standpoint, and this isn't going to be like a religious video or anything like that, but I also come at it from the standpoint of a Christian. I ask for help every day. I humble myself before the Lord in prayer. I ask for help. I see my flaws. I see my shortcomings and my weaknesses, and I ask for strength and for guidance and for forgiveness and grace. So these are things that I ask for on a daily basis, and I think too, that helps me, because I'm not too proud to say I need help with this. So I do think, though, that if you were a person that became disabled later in life or developed an illness, like any of these chronic illnesses or chronic pain, things that come up to somebody later in life, asking for help can be really daunting and uncomfortable because you're not used to it, and it makes you vulnerable. It really does. You feel weaker. And I think I just want to tell people, I know you can't help how you feel, but try not to feel that way, because everybody needs help with something, and yours might be help with a physical task, whereas somebody else's might be help with a spiritual task or a emotional task or something like that. We're all here to help and love each other and help each other get through. I'm not getting emotional. My voice I've been having allergies or something going on lately, so forgive me for that. But we all need help. And I think when you offer to help, it makes it easier to ask for help too. So that's another thing. When you go out of your way to help another person, it makes it easier. I think when you need something, you might not feel as strange or weird about asking for assistance. There are times it can be really uncomfortable, like in the grocery store or at school, at work, things like that. And I understand that it can be awkward. I've had to ask for people for help in the grocery store before, lifting something out of a cart or putting something into my cart. I can't hold something when I'm reaching for it on a shelf because it's too heavy, and I'm struggling with two hands to use it. I'm not afraid to ask a stranger. It's not always the most pleasant thing to do. But the thing I think is important is you have to learn to ask for help. This is kind of like back and forth because I didn't take notes or make a plan or an outline or anything. You have to be able to ask for help, because don't deny yourself the quality of life that you deserve because you're afraid to ask for help, or uncomfortable asking for help, or you feel awkward, or you're ashamed, because you owe it to yourself to live the best life that you can. And in order for that to happen, sometimes you're going to need assistance. And that's just a fact of life. And again, it's a fact of life for all of us, but especially for somebody that has a physical shortcoming. And then if you have somebody in your family or a loved one or a friend that is in need of help, and you want to offer to help them, but maybe they seem kind of unapproachable about that, or maybe they seem proud and you don't want to offend them or pester them or anything like that, I would just say this, because I've actually done this before. Like Keith and I, he never needs help from me with anything physical, but sometimes he needs things, help with other things, like tasks I can help him out with, just different things. And here's what I say. If you need me, please let me know. Tell me if there's something I can do to help you. I want to help you, but I don't know exactly what you need. Can you let me know, in words, what do you need? And I don't hound on these things, but I let him know that I'm available and that I'm willing and I'm wanting to help. You just have to tell me what you need me to do. And I think people will appreciate that. I appreciate that when someone says to me, what do you need help with here? What can I do for you? Like Patty, she's a fellow Avon rep, and I think I mentioned this before in another video, we were at the restaurant where we have our meetings, and they have a soup bar, and I could not get my soup. I couldn't pick up the label and hold my bowl and everything. And she was there, and I could tell she wanted to help me, but she didn't know what to say. And she finally just said, "Hey, do you need help with that?" I said, "Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I do need help." And so just be available to people. Let them know. You don't have to do things for them. I think that's important too. Don't do things for somebody without asking, but make sure they know that you're there and you're available to them if they need help with, whatever it may be. Sometimes people that are disabled have a chip on their shoulder, and I know that that's kind of getting into uncomfortable territory, because when somebody's disabled, you're not supposed to say that person's a jerk. You know what I mean? But sometimes, just like everybody else, disabled and able-bodied people can be jerks sometimes. I knew somebody years ago that was a disabled person. They were pretty severely disabled. They were in a wheelchair, and they also had hands similar to mine. And this person was just not a fun person to be around. And I'm not judging. I'm sure they had a lot to deal with. I know they did. I know their life was difficult and full of pain, physical pain, and I'm sure emotional pain also, but they just were not a pleasant person to be around. They didn't want to ask for help, but then if you didn't offer it, they were kind of smarmy about it. You know what I mean? Like, they would sit behind you in their wheelchair, and if you didn't know they were behind you, but you were blocking their path, and they would just sit there instead of saying, "Excuse me, I need to get through," or anything like that. They would just sit there with a snotty look on their face until you finally realize, "Oh, look, I'm blocking the aisle," or whatever, and get out of the way. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes people have a chip on their shoulder and you don't know how to approach them. And I understand that too. And I think that's okay. I just think the best thing to do is to be open and to be honest and to be put yourself out there. The person who needs help as well as the person who's offering help. It can be uncomfortable, but that's okay. It's okay for things to be uncomfortable sometimes. I mean, it's not going to kill us. It's not going to do anything. It's just awkward. Big deal. Whoever died of awkwardness. You know what I mean? It's like just, and it kind of breaks the ice, in that situation. And so the next time it's not as, uncomfortable or awkward. I know I never do these videos from like a structured point of view where I'm hitting points A, B, C, D. It's just that my thoughts kind of go all over the place and I repeat myself and I skip around, but that's how I am, I just think that asking for help, offering help is uncomfortable, awkward, sometimes embarrassing, but it's necessary and it's good. It's a good thing to do. It's kindness and being loving and being patient with each other. And it's just okay. It's okay to need help. Like, okay, here's an example too. Sometimes we go do things that require a lot of walking and my legs get tired easily. I do really well though. I mean, I can walk for a long time. I can usually walk for a mile and a half before I start to feel it. If I'm having a good normal day, before I start to feel too like I need to take a break, not a fast pace, but I can stroll that far. But sometimes we go to things or do things, activities that take all day. Like, for example, sometimes we go to the outlet mall and then we go to Frankenmuth and we're walking around Bronner's, the world's largest Christmas store. Well, one time I got a wheelchair. Now we actually have a wheelchair here because when my dad passed away, we have his wheelchair, which was brand new. So I wouldn't need to use one or borrow one. But we were at the store, the Christmas store at Bronner's, and it's a huge Christmas store. If you've never been there, it's the biggest Christmas store in the world. It's absolutely enormous. It's like a mall, but it's all Christmas. And I knew that I was going to need help, and I said to Keith, I think I'm going to need a chair. Would you mind pushing me? And he seemed a little surprised, but he was like, no, I think that's great. Because here was my thinking. If I don't ask for that, if I don't say I need a chair, two things are going to happen. Number one, I'm going to get tired out and I'm going to be uncomfortable and I'm going to want to go home. And number two, that's going to affect his having a good time too, because he's going to want to take his time and look at things and spend a lot. So if I can get a wheelchair and have him push me around and he doesn't mind, that we could be in there for hours enjoying it. You know what I mean? So the only person, I would be like ruining both our time by not asking for help. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. I don't think there's any shame in asking for a scooter or using a wheelchair, anything like that. Anything that's gonna make your experience more enjoyable. At the grocery store, use the cart. Do whatever you need to do. If you're I don't know, just anything. Just don't be worried to ask for help or ashamed, because you deserve that good time. You deserve the best life that you can have. You deserve these things. And so sometimes you just have to ask for help. And sometimes we have to offer help. And if the person you offer to help says, I don't need your help, go to hell, then you can say, okay, well, if you ever change your mind, I'm here. And I know that's hard too sometimes when people are grumpy with you, to take that attitude, but really that's the best thing to do, because you don't know what they're feeling from their point of view, and if you're the person who needs help, don't be a jerk. Don't expect someone to read your mind. Keith doesn't know what I need. A lot of times now, we've been married for so long that, like, if I'm going to cook dinner, at the start of the dinner, I get everything I need, like all the ingredients, and I put them out, and he'll say, okay, what do you need me to do? And I'm like, okay, can you open that? Can you do this? Can you do that? And he does. And then I'll say to him, I might need you to come up later on and lift this pot. And he's like, okay. We're very clear about what we're very clear about what I need. And, it just makes everything go smoother, because people aren't mind readers. They don't know what you need. They don't know what I need. Nobody knows what I need but me. And so I have to effectively communicate that to people. And I can't be a jerk about it, but I don't want to be embarrassed either, but I owe it to myself and to them You know, I can't expect somebody to know what I need unless I tell them. And then also, if you're the person that's offering help, don't get mad when they do ask you. You know, if you say things like, well, whatever you need, just let me know, or, you know, you need anything, and then when they ask, then you kind of go, oh, well, I was in the middle of this, or, you know, don't do that, because they might not ask you again. And so you have to remember, when you offer to help somebody, when you open that door, it's open and you can't go back. You know, so it's kind of like, just be prepared for that. Try not to seem annoyed or rushed or anything like that. You know, I don't know. Was this just so much of blah, blah, blah? I'm sorry if it was. I know I go back and forth. It's just random thoughts that go through my head. But what a better world it would be if we all just were like, hey, I need this. I need a hug. Hey, I need, you know, somebody to offer to carry my groceries up these stairs, or, you know, can you help me tie my shoe, or can you open this door for me? And then a person offers to help somebody else, like what you're doing. You're making someone's quality of life better. You are helping them to experience something that they might not normally be able to experience. You are making a positive change in the world. Even if it's a tiny little section of the world, you're making it better. So it's just good all the way around. Ask for help, offer help. For all of us, you know, even like me, I need help all the time with things, but I also offer help with things that I can do for other people. You know, like I'm really good at talking on the phone. You know, I used to have a job where I had to talk on the phone all the time. I'm really, really good with the phone. So I'm always offering to call people, like for my mom. Well, I can call this, I can do that, I can set this up for you. I offer to make all the phone calls for Keith. I do all the phone calls for for my in-laws. I'm really good on the phone, you know, and they don't really like being on the phone. So it works out that way. We all have something to offer somebody. Just find what it is and offer it. And I think it just makes everything better. Does that sound like too touchy-feely? You know, just, I don't know. Just make it a better place. Not everybody, but it seems like these days people are like so quick to fly off the handle with each other, short with each other, and it's all nonsense, you know, like you see on social media. This is something totally different, but you see on social media people arguing all the time, total strangers arguing with each other, calling names, being hateful, all that stuff. That's nonsense. That's not real life. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's real life. I have too much faith in humanity to believe that. I think that on the basic level, me to you, you to me, neighbor to neighbor, we're all good. You know, I think that for the most part, we're all good and helpful and loving and patient and kind with each other. That's how I like it to be. So yeah, so ask for help and offer help for all of us, right? Okay. I guess that's all, you guys. Those are my random thoughts for today on the subject of helping people. So thank you so much if you watched it, and question or comment below, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully I'll have my thoughts more organized and I won't be like a crazy person. So blah, blah, blah. All right. See you guys.